Hello and welcome to the agenda. I am Ajay Kaul. In this program today, we will discuss about the outcomes of the first meeting between US President Joe Biden and Russian President Vladimir Putin in Geneva. It was a historic development when US President Joe Biden and Russian President Vladimir Putin came face to face in Geneva. The two leaders met against the backdrop of a lot of acrimony in their relations in the recent past. After the 4-hour meeting, it seemed that the two leaders want to put the acrimony aside and have a working relationship. So, what are the key takeaways from this meeting? We will try to understand this in the agenda today. We have with us Dr. Abhay Singh, who is a member of Russian Parliament. He is joining us from Moscow. From Delhi, we are joined by former Indian diplomat Ambassador Achal Kumar Malhotra. But before we start our conversation, have a look at this small report.
When US President Joe Biden and his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin met in Geneva for their first face-to-face summit, the expectations were low. The expectations had been kept low in view of the acrimonious relationship between the two powers witnessed in the recent past. However, when the two leaders decided to have a stable relationship between the two countries, the expectations were clearly exceeded. The two leaders agreed to have a working relationship despite suspicions and sharp differences over some crucial issues. They agreed to create a framework for sustained engagement on a range of issues including arms control and cybersecurity while communicating their respective red lines. The two sides are also sending their ambassadors back to Washington and Moscow to facilitate a productive dialogue. At the end of their 4-hour-long talks, Biden and Putin suggested that the two sides are ready to explore common grounds on the basis of self-interest. The relationship had seen a huge deterioration after Putin was accused by the US of interfering in the American presidential elections. Russia was also accused of carrying out a series of cyber attacks on critical American infrastructure, including oil pipelines. Putin has also been slammed by the US for ill treatment of opposition leader Alexei Navalny, who has been imprisoned. So much so that Biden, in the first week of his presidency, called Putin a killer. However, just ahead of the meeting with Putin, Biden described him as bright, tough and worthy adversary. Now it seems to be seen how much the semantics translate into action. Bureau Report.
Now let's welcome our guests, Dr. Abhay Singh from Moscow and Ambassador Achal Malhotra from Delhi. Welcome to the program, both of you. I'll first go to Dr. Abhay Singh. I want to ask you about this recent meeting between US President and Russian President. So what is your assessment? How did it go, and will the anti-American sentiment in Russia reduce or end after this meeting?
Yeah, I would like to say this meeting was very important not only for Russian and American friendship and relations, but this meeting was very important for whole world. Whole world was watching for this meeting because in this meeting the main strategy was to talk about the influence of third world war in this world. So it should not be happen. Both leaders talked and decided something in this meeting. So I think this meeting was very good and very important for everybody.
Since you are the MP of the ruling party in Russia, so what is the assessment at home in Russia about this meeting?
Yeah, about Russia, this meeting was also very important because Russia is facing lot of economic blockade from US side and European side, so we have to pass this also. It's not the same, but I think those sanctions but they are putting it is not so effective for Russia. Any, we have also relations with Russia, and this meeting was very important. And I think further we will want, it's the first important meeting what we have got in the last few years. Further we will work on that also.
But there are some issues. I mean, there is a major difference between US and there are major differences between US and Russia. I mean, US is accusing Russia of cyber attacks. US is also raising questions over how Navalny is being treated, and other issues are related to human rights. So, what do you say on these things? Because these things still remain sticky issues, and of course, sanctions you mentioned about.
Yeah. About cyber attack, if the top 10 countries who are related to cyber attack, in that list you will find the first country, Canada, US, South country of America, South American country, but in the top 10 list, Russia is not there. So, and it's, they are blaming doing that is not true. And if we're talking about human rights in Russia, I think we are also in a good position for.
Okay, we have an Indian diplomat, retired diplomat, Ambassador Malhotra. So I'll ask his views on the meeting between the two leaders. So, Mr. Malhotra, how do you see this meeting?
Let me begin by saying or recalling that in the recent years the relations between Russia and America have really gone down the drain, and probably they have reached a very low ebb, and they could so that they could not go further. There was no further deterioration in the relations, which would not augur well for the peace, security, and stability the world over. I think an intervention at the level of the two leaders was absolutely necessary, and therefore, even if there is no complete agreement outcome of the visit in terms of any agreements, etc., I think this is a very good first step taken in the direction of easing the tensions, if not normalization of the relations. Even if this visit can lead to some, I would say, establish a working relationship between Russia and America, that is going to be a very good achievement. Obviously, there are areas in which, there is a possibility of the two sides coming on the same page, or at least being able to resolve their differences. For example, there are issues related to climate change, and there are issues related to terrorism, and even, according to the media reports, the two sides, the Russian side is willing to come forward in easing tensions with Iran nuclear issue, or Afghanistan crisis. And there are some other issues like, restoration of diplomatic positions, like a lot of diplomats have been recalled. Probably they will be called back, and those small little movements which make the relationship back on the rails is by itself a very good achievement. Obviously, there are many issues on which the differences are likely to continue because, for example, human rights issue. The two countries have had absolutely different definitions of the concept of human rights. So there is very little that we can expect. The Americans will continue to talk about Alexei Navalny and other issues, and Russia is going to take a tough stand on that. Similarly, there are closer home to Russia, for example, Belarus or the Ukraine issue. I don't think they can have any meeting points in the near future. Even on Syria, probably they may not come to an agreement. But yes, there are other issues which I mentioned, on which they can still talk and cooperate and collaborate. So finding a very fine balance between the two countries between cooperation and competition, a healthy competition, is what I think is the need of the hour. And as I mentioned, if there is a tension between the two superpowers, two big powers, it's going to have some spillover impact on rest of the world. Even in the context, even for example, India finds itself in a very awkward condition. We have, comprehensive global strategic partnership with America. We have, special privileged partnership with Russia. And when Americans impose sanctions on Russia, it has an adverse impact on our plans to procure defense equipment from Russia. For example, S-400 is under cloud. So overall, for the rest of the world, it would be a good idea that the two leaders are able to sit together. They may not, the Americans may continue to accuse Russia of the cyber intervention, cyber attacks, which Russia is not going to admit. So this situation is likely to continue. But if they are able to ease tensions and establish a working relationship, I think that would be a very good achievement.
So you want to suggest that it's kind of an icebreaker, is it? So
Yes,
yeah,
again, this is
yes, yeah.
this is the first meeting. This is
Yeah.
the first step, and the idea is to break the ice,
Right.
get to talk to each other very frankly. They spoke to each other for about 4 hours, even if you set aside some time for interpretation and all that. And but they are still, they don't want to come. They didn't come together. Did not necessarily join press conference. There was no joint statement.
Right. I think that was
Because
expected.
obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is all expected, and as I said, nothing miraculous was expected to come out of this meeting. But the fact that the two leaders decided to sit face to face and decided not to talk through media, it's by itself is a very positive development.
Yeah.
And let's hope the two leaders will be able to carry it further, and which would be good for the rest of the world also.
So, Dr. Abhay Singh, I come to you. You heard Ambassador saying that kind of it's an icebreaker. It will be good for the entire world if America and Russia are able to ease their tensions. So, do you see easing of tensions between the two countries, which will have spiral effect?
Yeah, see, Russia and America, they have two superpower countries in this world. This is not matter. Recognize this also. And 45 to 50, there was a very big Cold War to superpower countries. And I think Russia is not like those periods, but it was in 90s after the breaking of Soviet Union. So Russia is standing on his legs. And Russia is so strong now. And due to that, we will have some internal Cold War. So, one is not single polar now, but is now two polar, as it was before. So, I think questions are like this type of meeting, which like to decide all the problems, all the questions, what will arise, we will try to decide everything.
We are discussing about the meeting between US President and Russian President, and what it means for them, the two countries and rest of the world. So, Dr. Abhay Singh, I come to you about the nagging issue between the two countries, which has led to deterioration in the relations, is the interference in each other's country. So, America says that Russia is interfering in our presidential elections through cyber systems and all that. And Russia is saying, America is saying that there are human rights violations, opposition is suppressed, there is no freedom of speech and expression. So those issues are still nagging. What do you say on those things? How do you resolve these issues?
Yeah, these are important, I think. I will take you at least to Russia that Russia is interested in US election and other countries in the world that is totally not true. You have to blame any country, anybody, but there is no proof because that is not there. The problem was given in trying to see what the problem of black people in America. There is still now, there is difference between black and white. And you can see lot of problems, internal problems. in
No,
US also.
particularly about Navalny issue, but especially about Navalny issue, which I mean, President Biden also, I think, told President Putin, that if he dies in jail, it will have catastrophic consequences. And after that, Putin was also saying that he's supposed to be in jail, he needs to be in jail. So, how do you resolve all these things? Dr. Abhay Singh?
Yeah. Actually, Mr. Navalny is one of the opposition leader of Russia. And before his arrest, he was fined and he was in home arrest for a few years. What is home arrest in Russia? Every minute he should go to the police station and show physically that he is in city Moscow, he is not. So, 2-4 years he should go to the police station and show. But what it is, he flies to other country, different working flights. And when he comes back after other countries, don't go to the police station and right? So, it is a sudden ignorance of the legal system from Russian Federation. That is why he was arrested and taken to court and told, you are ignoring the decision of court, so now you should take 14 years in jail. That's all. US people, American people, they are taking this issue and they are taking this issue to political point of view, and they want to regulate Russian political system, Russian political system from India. This is the only issue.
And Dr. Abhay Singh, there was also an issue about Ukraine. I mean, we recently saw how Russia had mobilized forces and there was a military build-up on the Ukraine border, and then it was eased away. I mean, America is taking that also very seriously. I think NATO is also considering some steps. So how do you see that?
For Ukraine issue, revenge, it is called the agreement. Russia is totally following this agreement. It is also a part of this agreement. But Ukraine is not following this agreement. Russian army is not crossing the Russian border. But how you can blame Russia that their army is on the border, is not crossing the border? And Ukraine was the part of Soviet Union before. Very long time it was a part of Soviet Union. The leaders of Ukraine not hearing the people. They are by US administration. I think every agreement and problem with resolve that this is our position.
But you are saying that Russian forces did not cross the border, but mobilizing or build up on the border is intimidation, no? Dr. Abhay Singh?
It was there, but Russian army come back already approximately more than 1 month ago.
I know that, but there was a build up earlier. Okay, let me talk about Russia. I mean, as Ambassador Malhotra mentioned about that, if tensions between US and Russia ease, there will be, I mean, it will have good impact on India, Russia-India relations, because we know, I mean, S-400 are under sanctions, or maybe America is threatening to put sanctions on those deliveries. So how do you see that development in that context, India-Russia relations?
Russia will never stop the supply of S-400. And Indo-Russian relation is not just a relation. It is already converted like a tradition. You see the history of India, and before independence of India, also you can see the history from that time till now. Russia and India, they are working well. There was no conflict any time. Whenever India needs Russian help, Russia is there. As you should have.
Okay, Ambassador Malhotra, I come to you now. So you talked about that icebreaker, and I mean, there will be, you are hopeful that it will ease the relationship between the two countries. But do you, I mean, think that it will sustain? Because soon after the meeting, both President Biden and Russia President Putin talked in different things, particularly about Navalny issue. So, do you think that it will sustain, or it was just for the meeting that I mean, tempers a cool down, and after that it will be back to the routine? What do you say?
No, Ajay, as I mentioned, there are certain issues on which it will be very difficult for two countries to reconcile their differences.
As I mentioned about Ukraine, Ukraine is a lurking issue.
Yeah, for Ukraine, I'm coming to that. It's a very important issue.
Yeah.
Because you see, what is the root cause of the problem? The root cause of the problem is that Russia became very weak in the 90s,
Right.
After the demise of the Soviet Union. But ever since Vladimir Putin became president in 2000, he has been asserting and he has been trying to restore the glorious days of the Soviet Union. And according to Vladimir Putin, the former Soviet territories, even what constituted the former Soviet Union, is sort of an area of Russia's natural influence, and Russia is not going to tolerate any interference or inroads into those particular countries. Therefore, in concrete terms, Russia is opposed to NATO's and European Union's eastward expansion. And in 2008, NATO had announced that sooner or later, Ukraine, together with Georgia, will become the members of the NATO.
Right.
So this itself is quite irritating and also earlier in the case of Kosovo, United States of America and certain European countries went arbitrarily and announced their recognition of the independence of Kosovo. That had repercussions in Georgia when Russia moved in and recognized the independence of South Ossetia and Abkhazia, which are the breakaway regions from Georgia, and Georgia is trying to join all the Euro-Atlantic structures very keenly. So this whole issue, therefore, what I said was that when the issues will be related to Russia's immediate neighborhood, it will be very, very difficult. And Belarus also.
Yeah.
In Minsk also there was some problem. So in the immediate vicinity of immediate neighborhood of the Russian Federation, it will be very, very difficult to come to an agreement. Other places like Iran and Afghanistan and other issues of global dimensions like climate change.
Syria, they have a big problem.
Syria also they have problems because they are divided. Opinion is divided. One wants a regime change, and the Russians want to defend.
It's a shadow war between the two countries.
So that will go on, and the idea is that if they can, once again, I might be repeating myself, so they can establish working relations.
Yeah.
And Ajay, we must also discuss the China factor in.
Yeah.
You see, why Americans are also trying to reach out to Russia at this point of time, my opinion, they will not like to fight on two fronts simultaneously.
Yeah.
They have already waged a kind of a sort of a verbal war against, they are lobbying against China.
Yes.
So they are trying to mobilize the opinion against China. And then you also have Russia in the process. If you isolate Russia, willy-nilly you are pushing Russia into the lap of China. The two of them are already having good relations.
Yeah.
The last 10 years, the relations have strengthened. And then you are pushing towards an alliance or convenience or whatever you call. On the one hand, you want to put up a coalition of democracies.
Yeah.
On the other hand, you are
we
pushing
yeah,
for
Ambassador.
another.
Yeah, Ambassador, we have to conclude. So I want to ask one question, one brief comment from Dr. Abhay Singh about, as you heard Ambassador talking about Ukraine issue. So if Ukraine joins NATO, what will Russia do? Briefly, please.
In this topic, I will say, see what happened to Iraq, what happened to Libya, what happened to Yugoslavia, what happened to Georgia.
No, my question is
And
specific.
you-
What will Russia do if Ukraine was to joins NATO?
All these countries, I noted what happened to those countries. After entrance of US, all these countries were destroyed. I am coming to your question.
Yeah, we have to conclude now, so we have very less time, maybe 20 seconds, please.
Yeah, if US will come to Ukraine, the same thing will happen to Ukraine also.
Okay.
Ukraine will be occupied by US people. They will put their president. They will rule. They will do whatever they want. But I think Ukrainian people are very good. Ukrainian people, they know everything. They will not allow to do this thing.
Right. So you are keeping it vague what Russia will do about if Ukraine were to join NATO. But our time of the program is over today. Thank you both of you for participating in this. This is all in the agenda today. Thanks for watching. Dear viewers, from next week the agenda program will become a weekly show and will be telecast on the weekends. Meanwhile, I'll be back with another important and interesting topic tomorrow. Till then, take care and stay safe. Bye.